Hello, my name is Felicia Logston, and I chose to do my global weather project about the deforestation problem in Brazil. With the world growing at a pace hard to match, the increased need for space is turning out to be an area of major concern. With desperate need for land for agricultural, industrial, and most importantly urban needs to contain cities and their growing population, a direct action we have come to recognize is deforestation. Deforestation is a simple term that means the felling and clearing of forest cover or tree plantations in order to accommodate agricultural, industrial, or urban use. It involves the permanent end of forest cover to make that land available for residential, commercial, or industrial purpose. Today, I want to inform you about the deforestation problem in Brazil. Brazil holds about 1/3 of the world's remaining rainforests, including the majority of the Amazon rainforest. The majority of Brazil's forest cover is found in the Amazon basin, a variety of ecosystems and vegetation types, including rainforests, seasonal forests, flooded forests, and savannas. This region has experienced a remarkable extent of forest loss over the last two generations. About 19% of its total surface area has been cleared in the Amazon since 1970. That's about 230 square miles of Amazon rainforest has been destroyed. In more recent years, growing populations in the Amazon region, combined with increased viability for agricultural operations, have caused a further rise in deforestation rates. There are many causes of deforestation, and some of them include cattle ranching, lodging, and population growth and urbanization. Cattle ranching. Conversion of rainforest for cattle pasture is the single largest driver of deforestation in Brazil, contributing to almost 50% of deforestation. Clearing forests for pasture is the cheapest and easiest way to establish an informal claim to land, which can be sold to other parties at a profit. Since 2000, cattle ranching in the Amazon has become increasingly industrialized, meaning that more ranchers are producing cattle to sell commercially. This only intensifies the already strong threat to the country's forests. Lodging is an obvious cause of deforestation. Not only does it call for cutting down trees, it also requires the construction of roads in order to get to those trees. Such construction tears up the soil and increases erosion. Lodging in the Brazilian Amazon remains plagued by poor management, destructive practices, and outright fraud. Massive areas of rainforest are lodged, legally and illegally, each year. Apart from this, wood-based industries like paper, matchsticks, and furniture also need a substantial amount of wood supply. Wood is used as fuel both directly and indirectly, therefore trees are chopped for supplies. Population growth and urbanization. As populations grow, more resources must be available and ready to use. Brazil's population is growing. Overpopulation directly affects forest covers, as with the expansion of cities, more land is needed to establish housing and settlements. Therefore, forest land is reclaimed. Brazil is in the midst of a construction spree, including scores of dams across the Amazon basin and a series of road projects that could greatly worsen deforestation. However, there are other influences on deforestation. There are many natural causes of deforestation. Such examples include drought, storms, and natural fire. While such events are damaging to Brazil's forests, the devastation is not as bad as when humans are responsible. When natural causes of deforestation take place, the loss suffers is not so widespread that nothing can be regenerated. Deforestation also has many major effects on the environment. The Amazon region in South America contains 21% of the global forest area. Due to its size, regional differences and impacts are expected to occur. The major effects of deforestation in Brazil are reduced rainfall, climate imbalance, increased flood risk, global climate change, and reduced biodiversity. Reduced rainfall. Deforestation within the Amazon is expected to reduce rainfall. The total deforestation of the Amazon would result in a total of 10 to 20% decrease in annual rainfall across the entire Amazon basin. Areas outside of deforested regions would also be impacted. The southern Rio de la Plata basin predicted to have a 4% decrease in rainfall. Deforestation also causes lower humidity and changes in moisture convergence. Climate imbalance. Surface temperatures are expected to increase following tree clearance, but increased rates of cold events are also expected. The complete conversion of the Amazon rainforest to agriculture would result in a temperature increase of over 2 degrees Celsius. Deforestation affects the climate in more than one way. Trees release water vapor in the air. However, this is compromised with the lack of trees. Trees also provide the essential shade that keeps the soil moist. This leads to the imbalance in the atmospheric temperature, making conditions for ecology more difficult. Increased flood risk. When it rains, trees absorb and store large amounts of water. When significant amounts of trees are cleared, the flow of water is disturbed and leads to floods in some areas and droughts in others. During the rainy season, from November to June, the main rivers in the Amazon rise and flood massive areas of the forest. The flooded area can spread out to up to 200 kilometers from the riverbanks. Global climate change. Deforestation is considered to be one of the contributing factors to global climate change. According to the World Resources Institute, forest loss contributes between 12% and 17% of annual global greenhouse gas emissions. If greenhouse gases are in large enough quantity, they can force climate change. While oxygen is the second most abundant gas in our atmosphere, it doesn't absorb thermal infrared radiation as greenhouse gases do. Carbon dioxide is the most prevalent greenhouse gas. In 2012, carbon dioxide accounted for 82% of all greenhouse gas, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Reduced biodiversity. Rainforests cover about 7% of the world's surface. Within this percent live almost half of all plant and animal species on Earth. Some of these species only live in small areas, which make them more vulnerable to extinction. As the landscape and environment changes, some plants and animals are simply unable to survive. Species from the tiniest flower to large orangutans are becoming endangered or even extinct. Ways to reduce deforestation and repair damage. In December of 2007, the United Nations Climate Change Conference took place in Bali, Indonesia. After 10 days of intense discussion, more than 180 countries agreed to the Bali Roadmap. This roadmap includes specific measures to reduce deforestation for tropical rainforests in particular. Many developing countries' economies depend on their forests, and they argued that they should be able to use their land as they please. In response, the roadmap will examine policies to financially reward countries who reduce their emissions by a certain percentage. However, this proposal faces controversy. Because those countries with the highest baseline rate of deforestation will receive the most reward credits, critics fear that many countries will rush to cut down trees to raise their own baseline. Besides the United Nations, there are also dozens of nonprofits working to combat deforestation. A few well-known organizations include Conservation International. One of their goals is to teach local farmers how to maximize their current land rather than clear new areas. The World Wildlife Fund. They work to shape policies and teams with committees to preserve rainforests. Rainforest Action Network uses in-your-face advertising campaigns to call attention to the world's rainforests. Amazon Watch. They defend the rights of indigenous people and communities faced with industrial development. New movements in forest protection have also developed over the years. They include ecoforestry. This is a method where only carefully selected trees are cut down and are transported with minimal damage to the area. In return, the forest ecosystem is preserved while commercial timber extraction is still permitted. Green business. This focuses on recycled paper and wood products, wood alternatives, and environmentally responsible consumerism. Land use planning. This supports environmentally friendly development techniques such as the reduction of urban and suburban extension. Community forestry, where concerned citizens come together to manage and participate in keeping their local forests practical and manageable. In summary, deforestation is a term that means the felling and clearing of forest cover or tree plantations in order to accommodate agricultural, industrial, or urban use. Brazil holds about 1/3 of the world's remaining rainforests, including the majority of the Amazon rainforest. Deforestation has been a major issue in Brazil. The main causes of deforestation are cattle ranching, lodging, and population growth and urbanization. The major effects of deforestation are reduced rainfall, climate imbalance, increased flood risk, global climate change, and reduced biodiversity. The United Nations, as well as many other nonprofit groups, have developed movements to reduce and solve the issue of deforestation.